Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my live stream. So the main purpose of this live stream is I'm going to be testing 6 different power systems all at the same time, as if they were running a full load of 9 turrets off of the large batteries. I have 6 different setups that I'm going to be testing here, just so we can figure out which one's the best, and yeah, that's basically what we're up to. And at the same time, I'm also going to be answering any and all of your questions about how to build circuits and stuff like that. I figure while we're waiting, that would be a good time to do it. Now, if you're watching this in the future and this isn't a live broadcast, then what I would recommend is when you see me standing here in front of these panels just like this, you increase the playback speed a little bit, 4 times or 8 times, just so you guys can actually see what's going on here on the power wall, out, that sort of stuff. The main things you're looking at is you want to see 9s across the board in every one of these display panels here. If a display panel shows less than 9, then that means the turret won't be able to run. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at. So these first two systems here on the left, these two systems are straight wind generation. So these are all, both of these systems are running off of a single wind turbine up on the roof. And these are all set to be 10 stories tall, which you guys will know that that's at least how tall that they have to be in order to maximize the power intake. So we've got all of those set up 10 stories tall. And the first system we have set up is into our regular 3-way branches and splitters, going off to our quote-unquote turrets. And then the second one is we have an electrical tree running all of our turrets. So this is 2 different ways that you can run off of straight power for the wind turbines. And we're going to see just how well these work running off just wind turbines. Now, the next 2 systems we have right here, which are the yellow and green, these ones are running specifically off of solar panel, 10 solar panels each to be exact. But there's 2 different things that we're doing with these systems here. So the yellow system, as you can see, is being run into this battery. So we got our power coming in, it's going directly into our battery, and then our turrets are being supplied the power after the battery. The second system that we have set up here, which is our green line, is also being run off of a large battery. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. So the yellow line, sorry, and the blue line here. So this blue line is also our solar panel, but it's being sent through one of the infinite power systems. So this one here will be straight power here on the bottom. So right to the battery, and then from the battery, and then this is straight to the system, and then into our turrets. And then the last 2 that we have set up right here, this one down here at the bottom, this is both wind and solar generation. So we have 1 wind turbine and 3 solar panels for this one. And we also have 1 wind turbine and 3 solar panels for this one as well. However, this system is also running through an infinite power system. So we've got 2 that are running off of straight wind turbine. We have 2 that are running off of straight solar. And then we have 2 that are running specifically off of solar and wind. And each one of those 2 last systems are running on an infinite power system. So we can see what the difference is in the batteries as we go. This last battery here and all these purple lines, this is specifically for the Q&A questions. So if anybody who's watching my live stream wants to ask me any questions about how to build a circuit, I can simply build that circuit for you here on this wall without affecting any of our tests. When I'm not doing a build here for any of the people that are joining the live stream. Then I'm going to be standing over here and I'm going to be looking at our panels here in order to see which one runs the best. So at the end of, I think I'm going to make this a 2-hour test, just so we can really fully test out the system, which should be about 3 in-game days. So we're going to test all of the systems out, see how well they work, and then at the end we're going to determine which one is the best by which one stays on the longest, and then at the end also which one has the most amount of battery power left over, stuff like that. So we're going to run all of these different systems all here at the same time. I am going to, it is just about nighttime here. It's 6:44 p.m. So I am going to wait until it becomes 8 a.m. from the morning, just to give all of these systems their best chance for them to work, especially since some of these run on solar. And we should be gaining enough power to all of our solar systems up on the roof at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're just going to hang out for the night and double check that that's all going to be running there as well. I've also got myself a light set up just so everything can be lit up while we're talking. And yeah, so we're just going to give it a couple of minutes, let this nighttime expire, and yeah, anybody wants to ask me any questions, please feel free to do so. I'd be more than happy to answer them. So here for a minute. These are all of the circuits here, and I'm just going to turn them all on at the beginning as we need them, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Hey there, welcome. I'm here to answer any and all questions, if you happen to have any, about power. I'm about to start a live test here on a couple different power systems. So you can stick around and watch some of this testing if you like. If you have any questions about power, you need to figure out how to get anything set up, just let me know. I've got a tester wall right here. We can put together whatever systems you want. But we're just waiting for 8 a.m. here so I can officially start my test. Alright, starting to get close to 8 o'clock. Yeah, so 8 o'clock, I'm just going to turn all of these on. And should be good. And then I'm going to let it to run till 8 o'clock, 2-3 times. However long I can stick around for anyway. And yeah. Alrighty. So, almost there. 54, 55, 57, 8 a.m. Everything gets turned on. Perfect. Now, what we're looking for is anything that shows less than 9 on here will mean that that turret isn't on or isn't functional. So currently right now, this system is barely getting enough power. Not quite, almost there. This windmill is turned off, so we're not getting any power from there. And so far, our other windmill only seems to be doing okay. Our other 3 power systems seem to be doing just fine. But this one power system right here, which is our yellow system, doesn't seem like it's able to keep up quite yet. So let's go take a look at our yellow system here. So our yellow system is connected to this battery right here. We have our 94 going out, but how much are we bringing in right now? Bringing in 122. 125. So there we go. We're just starting to gain power now. And it is officially on. And then this wind turbine keeps cutting out power. So that's good to know. And there we go. So there's our first loss for our turret. So we have one turret down off of just our wind turbines. Everything else seems to be going okay. Our yellow system was our solar only, running into the battery, not into any of our systems. So far, so good. We just got our other turret back there, so that one just turned on, so we're okay there. These two, I think, I'm gonna have the biggest issues with. I don't think the wind turbine by itself is going to be enough to keep all of these active all the time. So, but we'll see. You never know. That's why I'm going to give this 2 or 3 days of actual in-game time to test it, so we can test out the reliability of all of these systems over a longer term period of time. And then we're also going to go check out our batteries and their fullness at the end of all of this as well, because the fuller the battery, the more backup power we're going to have in case our batteries go down. And we're also going to look at a couple of the systems and how they're set up, and we're going to rank them from worst to best, and then you guys will have an idea of what to be doing in your base. So, yeah. And also for any of you new people joining, I am doing a Q&A for electricity right now. So if you have any questions on electricity, how to set up power, how to set up any sort of systems, I'm more than happy to help you guys out. I do have a little bit power wall here ready to go on its own battery. So we'll be able to look at that later and help you guys build whatever you need to. So for now though, I'm just going to be sitting here in front of this panel, just watching our turrets, making sure we have enough power. Definitely not the most exciting stream, but since I have to wait like 2 hours, I figured, you know, we'd do a Q&A while I'm here and help you guys out that way. So, see how this goes. I just realized I was on mute that whole time. um, so I don't know how much of that you heard. So let's do this again. So in order to hook up multiple batteries, you're going to want to create an electrical tree just like that. You always want to put an electrical tree before your systems. And enough. Thank you. And you always want to put electrical trees after your systems. So let's just imagine for a second that this branch right here is our power in, or our root combiner, right? So this is where all of our power is being sent out to. And let me just switch controllers here. Okay, so in order to make multiple systems, you're just going to create an electrical tree. Right. So you add an electrical branch for each battery that you want to power after it. So we're going to go in here, go in here, and we're going to go in here. Now you can take this left side and run it out to your battery, or you can take this left side and run it into your infinite power system, which is what I would do. And then from your infinite power system into your battery. And then you do the same thing for this one. Hook it up just like that. And then so on and so forth as the higher up you go. Now, if you're running solar only, you're going to want to configure this first branch to be 150, 160 if you want it to be more robust. And you're going to do that for every power system on the way up, except for the last one. The last one you're always going to configure to be well over however much power you have coming in, because it's taking the remaining power that you have. So yeah, you can hook it up from the left side in directly into the battery, in which case you'll need 190, or you can hook it up from the left side into the infinite power system, in which case you'll need 150. But if you're running both wind and solar, and you hook it into this left side, you can actually set this down to something like 105 or 110 if you really want to be sure, because the system will always remain on, and so forth. So that's how you hook up multiple batteries into one system. You just create an electrical tree, and then for each branch of the tree, you put your battery or your infinite power system. And then after your batteries, or after your infinite power systems, you also want to create another electrical tree. And then this is how you run multiple things off of one battery. So you can have your turrets, you can have your heaters, you can have cameras, lights, lockdown systems, whatever you want. But this allows you to configure each one of these to the specific amount of power that you need. And then that way you don't have to worry about wasting power. So I hope that explanation helped. If you're still confused on anything, let me know and I'll help you out. But that's basically how that works. Okay, actually this is perfect timing to come back. So all four of these are running perfectly just fine. But now we have a problem over here. So this one that is running on wind only, and it's set up how you would normally set up your turrets. We currently don't have enough power to run any of the turrets. So right now all of our turrets are off. So this is probably not the best way to be running it. However, if we look at our other wind turbine only, we're missing 1, 2, 3. So we're actually running 6 turrets out of 9 right now. because we have this set up like this, so each one of these things gets its power sent to it individually, and then whatever doesn't have power can't be powered. So if we go over here, yeah, so we've got 6 turrets running consistently, and then we don't have enough power to run the other 3 turrets. Meanwhile, these other systems are working perfectly fine. Again, this is a 10 solar system. This is a 10 solar system. This system is on the infinite power system. This system is not. And this system had a hard time starting up. And then both of these systems are running on solar and wind. Each one has 1 wind turbine and 3 solar power, and these guys turned on right away. So we are doing just fine for all of that. And look at that, the power just turned off on this one, so we're not getting any wind power. And that's the problem with the wind turbines, is sometimes they can be producing, 150 power, which runs everything, and then sometimes it's producing no power, which runs nothing. So these turrets aren't even on right now. So, and then this one, we're slowly gaining a little bit of power here. Our windmill's coming back. Starting to get a little bit of power, so we might get another turret to run here. But so far, these ones seem to be holding on nice and steady. Any questions that any of you guys watching currently have, I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Set up any systems you guys need, give you guys any explanations you guys might need on anything. That was the perfect time to ask while we're just sitting here watching our battery systems do their thing. Speaking of which, we just got another turret back. Thank you, I now have infinite power, auto lights and doors and cameras and turrets, all thanks to you. Ah, you're very welcome, bro. I'm glad that helped. Just remember, if you're running a large battery, you want to run 10 solar panels. You probably get away with 8, but just to be more robust, you want to put 10, just to be sure. Throw in your infinite power system, and yeah, you'll be good to go. But if you do get the chance to run a wind turbine and 3 solars, I would do that, because it's just going to make your battery basically completely a backup system. So you never have to worry about your battery going down or being blown up. But if you are running strictly on solar, that's okay too. It just means that your battery will only be active at night, and it won't be needed during the day. So let's just say you start getting raided, and it's nighttime, and they destroy your battery. Well, all of your turrets are going to turn off. But as soon as the daytime comes, all of your systems turn back on. It's going to surprise them because they think the battery's dead and all your turrets are off, and it'll probably kill them. Are you going to make a video on how to set up the turrets in the 72 turret video? Not exactly, no. But I can show you here real quick how that works, because it's fairly simple to set up. Now, there are 2 ways that you can do it. I would recommend that if you are going to be running that many turrets, for every 9 turrets that you're going to set up, I would do its own system, like this red system here. Or if you watch my advanced power system guide, you're going to want the second system. And you're just going to want to make a whole bunch of those around here for each one. However, if you do want to run them all off the same system, you're not too worried about it, you would just want to run them all off the same system, then we're going to do something like this. So this branch right here, we're going to pretend is our root combiner coming from outside and all of our power. and then we're going to set up an electrical branch for every 9 turrets that we want to set up. So 72, I think that's what, that's 6 times 9, I think. 72, no, that's 8. So 8. So we're going to need 8 electrical branches. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 6, 7, 8. And then we're just going to daisy chain them up. So from our root combiner into the first one, and then from our right side into the next one, and we're just going to continue to do that all the way up. So coming from our right side into our power in, and then right side, right side. Now there are 2 different ways you can do this. Each one of these left sides can be sent into a battery, or each one of these left sides can be sent into an infinite power system like we have set up here. And then from your battery into your into your turret system. So that this is what's going to allow you to do that. However, if you're running on only solar, then you're going to be running 150 power into each one of these electrical branches. However, if you're running on both wind and solar, then you're going to set each one of these branches to be 110. Right, so each one of these will be 110 because you're going to need a lot less power. But you're going to need to make sure that you have the 110 power for each one of these before you do that. So if you're going to be running all 8 of these, then you need 880 power minimum. And that's continuous power all the time. So it gets a little bit tricky. Because having 800 continuous power is not easy, especially with the wind turbines. So, yeah, that's why I always recommend that you split them all up. And it also means that if this first branch or any of your other power sources or your main root combiner gets blown up, it's not going to kill the whole rest of your system because they're all split up. So if you really need to daisy chain them together, you can daisy chain them together just like this. Otherwise, I would just run individual systems, and that way you're guaranteeing that they have to blow up each and every individual system in order for them to completely destroy all of your turrets. So that's this is the best way to run multiple systems. Yeah. No problem, my dude. No problemo. Yeah, 72 turrets is a lot. So, I would make sure, if you're doing that, and you're gonna have, I would at least have 1 wind turbine for each large battery. So you would want at least 8 wind turbines. And then I would add maybe 2 to 3 solar panels onto that. So if I go up here, so we have 1 wind turbine, and then I have 3 solar panels connected to it at the same time. So you can see my green line here. I have 3 solar panels and then 1 wind turbine all connected together. And that's running us more than enough power than we need. Oh, and as you can see, these other wind turbines, they just kicked in and are starting to produce more power again. So all of our turrets are now back on. But yeah, this is highly unreliable. I would always at least add 1 or 2, couple more solar panels onto your wind turbines. I wouldn't run just a single wind turbine for your turrets. It's either 2 wind turbines, 10 solar panels, or a wind turbine and 3 solar panels. And I honestly think, in my opinion, the wind turbine and the 3 solar panels is going to be your best bet. So, but that's what this test is for, and we're going to figure that out here at the end. See what our values come up to. Oh, I'm having a blast with this electric update on console for sure. Um, one of my biggest pet peeves in this game actually is having to open and close all the garage doors and stuff throughout my base and coming and going, and I think it's just a big giant pain in the butt. So the fact that I can have auto doors is pretty nice. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, and I'm glad they're helping you. I originally just started doing all of this because I wanted to be able to remember my own circuits and systems and stuff that I built. So I was originally just making these videos for me, but then I thought, you know what, since I'm already making these videos, I might as well throw them up onto YouTube. And then I got a lot of traction. People really seemed to like them, so I actually started putting a little bit of effort into them, which is kind of why I'm just sitting here for the next 2 hours just staring at this wall. Because, you know, you get a lot of conflicting reports on what works and what doesn't, and and plus, like, people don't, like, you know, I don't want to, you know, shit on anybody or anything, but there's big differences between how electricity works here on console versus on the PC, and a lot of the tips and stuff that people are getting, they're just PC tips that don't actually work here. Like if you were to set up your solar panels how you would on PC, then you're actually limiting how much power you're going to get here by quite a significant amount. And my next video is going to show that, because this is part of my next video where I go through and actually set up a whole bunch of different systems. I test them all out through some Rust days, and yeah. Guys are afraid to do the auto doors in case someone gets in and opens doors. Yeah, no, I can understand that. You know, you don't want anybody to get in and be able to mess with your doors and stuff like that. And believe me, I get that. I don't want to let anybody in and just be able to mess with my doors either. However, if you watch my advanced door automation video, I show you a couple of different ways that you can run your auto doors, but and I also show you a couple of the add-ons that I add to my lockdown system that actually prevents any of that from happening. So instead of using switches, we use electrical branches that only people authorized onto the TC can configure. And if somebody's breaking into your base and destroys the TC, well, they'll have no idea what any of those branches go to. So it won't really help them. And if you set up your door paths to where your outer doors are the beginning of your door paths, then as soon as somebody blows up one of those outer doors, every single door on the rest of the chain is broken, and it won't allow it to run. And then there's other you can set it up so it's on a timer, so every hour or however long you set it, the doors will automatically close for you. As well as having a panic button, so if you are getting raided and you are on, you just simply hit a button and all of your doors will close, and it won't be able to be reactivated unless you hit the laser that's somewhere else in your base. So by keeping the laser separate from your panic button and your timers, then people will have to break into two completely opposite sides of your base in order to run everything, and they have to know how to run and function it to begin with. So if you are worried about being broken into and people abusing it, then just add those add-ons onto it, and it'll become basically impossible for anybody to grief you using it. Another thing is too is when it comes to the lockdown system, you don't have to build it all on one wall. What you could do is you could take pieces of it and spread it out throughout your base, and you put those pieces in places that you know are going to get blown up, so beside doors and stuff like that. So no matter what part of the base they break into, if they one of those walls will have a piece of the lockdown system on it, so as soon as they destroy that wall, it'll destroy that piece and the lockdown system will no longer function. So that's just another way of hiding it and keeping it and preventing yourself from being grieved. So we're almost at the end of our first daylight here. We've reached 5 p.m. We're going to continue to have power for the next 3 hours, but as you can see, for the third time now, we've already lost a bunch of turrets. Now we're actually down to only 5 turrets running on this system. And this system, again, isn't running any turrets because of the way the power is being split out. So I can already tell you right now that this is the worst system, and then this is the second worst way of running your turrets. So, again, wind turbines by themselves are not very consistent at all. So it's not worth running just a wind turbine. Sure, you can, but I mean, you know, these numbers have been turned off once versus how many times have we lost turrets on these systems, right? So, but again, we're gonna give it the full benefit of the doubt. We're gonna let it run through. You know, maybe once the nighttime comes, one of these systems will turn off. Highly doubtful, because I've put in a lot of time and effort into this. And this is also going to be the third part of my next video. So, in the first parts of this videos, I went through and I figured out all of the best placements for all the solar panels, and which way, and the orientations, which way gives us the most power intake. So I've already done that in the first part of the video. The second part of the video was all about wind turbines, and I raised each wind turbine up 1 story, so then that way all of the wind turbines all had their same amount of space in between them, and then the only difference was each one was raised a little bit higher. So then that way we could figure out the best configuration for the wind turbines, because I wanted to give everything a fair shot, right? So, because I've seen a lot of people saying that, you know, I can run 7, 8 turrets off of a wind turbine, no problem, and my turrets are always on, and, you know, it's the cheapest and best way for me to do it. Well, I didn't believe them, and it's been made very clear so far in just a few hours that this has been running, well, a few in-game hours this has been running, that that's not the case, that we're continuously dropping turrets. So, yeah, so now I'm just going to chill here for another couple minutes, waiting for the next person that needs some help or some questions. And yeah, we're just going to continue to let this run. Should be almost nighttime now, 6 o'clock, so we've got another two in-game hours before we start losing power on our wind turbines, or on our solar panels, I should say. So we'll see how that's going to affect these other systems when the nighttime comes. But we'll see how that goes. And welcome to the new people who just joined, by the way. Any questions you guys have concerning power, or how to hook things up, how to run things, please feel free to ask in the messages. I'm going to be around for another hour and a half or so, just answering questions, helping you guys out while I'm doing my testing here. So, better than just sitting here staring at the wall, you know, helping you guys out. At least be a little bit more interesting. And plus, I never know what you guys are going to ask me to help build, so I'm always learning myself, trying to come up with new builds. And there we go, 7 o'clock. All of our solar just kicked out. You get from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. of daylight hours. But if you also look now, if you look at the time, our time is going up slowly right now. But then once it becomes after 8 o'clock and it becomes nighttime, that time is going to drastically increase in speed. It's actually going to be about 3-4 times faster. Pretty sure it's 3 times faster, because daytime is 3 times as long as nighttime. So once this reaches 8 o'clock and the full day cycle is gone, then we should see this the time there in the bottom increase exponentially. So I figure while we're here, I might as well show you that to you guys too. It's probably not something you guys ever noticed. I don't know how many people actually look at the clock down there, but it does happen. So as you can see, it's starting to increase a little bit more now, and then the later we get into the nighttime, the faster that will go, because it needs to go through a whole 12 hours in only like 10 or 12 minutes or something like that, versus having to go through 12 hours in a 30-minute period. So let's take a look back here at our wall. Try and remove any of the shadows. So right now our wind turbines are doing okay. They're kicking in. Everything else seems to be doing just fine. So, yeah, whoever's still here in the live chat, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer you. And if not, well, thanks for joining anyway. Okay, and we've lost another set of turrets again. So that wind turbine has completely turned off, and we are no longer getting power to any of them. Oh, and it's back on, and now we're getting basically full power. So, yeah, not very reliable. Alright, so after our first 24 hours in game, um, what's happened? So far, this has kicked out a couple of times, 4 or 5 times, where these were unable to power all of the turrets. So far this doesn't seem to be the best setup to set it up regularly, how you would with the three-way splitters. Not a great idea. The second system so far has been doing better than this one, because even though it's kicked out just as many times, in fact it's gone to 0 twice now where none of these were running. It was only a short period of time, but again, we never want our turrets to turn off. And then we've also gone as low as having only 5 turrets running out of the 9. So, I don't know. This one's I wouldn't recommend this one. And then as for all of our other systems, they've all been perfectly fine and running, no problem. So, let's go over here and check on some of our battery systems. So the first two we're going to check on is going to be our orange and green lines here. So for our green battery here, we still have 1459. So we're slowly gaining a little bit of power. The sun is just coming up, but we have 15 minutes charge left on our battery, which is a little bit more than a night cycle, so, you know, it's not too bad. And then our orange system, actually that's just a straight solar, which I believe, our orange system. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong system, that's fine. Okay, so we want a yellow system. Yellow and green. Okay, so we have 1426. So in our day cycle, we managed to completely fill what we needed for the night, and we have just over 14 minutes. So we have one night cycle left on this battery, and now that it's daytime again, we're charging. And then again, this one, we have 15 minutes left on the battery. So we're doing a little bit better on this green one than we are the yellow one. But then we have to check out our other two systems. So now we have our green system and our red system. So our green system is running just straight into the battery and then into our turrets. So we do have 16 minutes left on this battery. So it's doing yeah, 16. So we're doing all right. And then the red system here, we have 0 active usage, and we have 2,000. So we have 500 more power, and that's because this one is hooked up to the infinite power system. So it's actually charging more, and it's not being used. And then we have the blue system that we have to check on here, which is this bad boy, I do believe. Yep. And again, we have the same 1500 as we do the other ones, except this one also isn't being used. So we have a night cycle on that, but it's not being used right now. So overall, so far, the red one seems to be working the best. And this is our 1 wind turbine and 3 solar. So far so good. Now let's go through another day cycle or two, and then we'll know. welcome to the chat. I'm just currently testing a couple different power setups here for running turrets, which is the main things that everybody runs. If you have any questions about any other systems or how to run turrets or any questions related to electricity, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Show you an example of what you're looking for. And yeah, and if not, well, thanks for the watch. I appreciate it. Again, we're just kind of sitting here making sure that testing out a couple different power systems to find out which one's the best, which one's going to give us the most power to play with, to run our turrets consistently. So that's what we're currently doing now. Thanks for joining. Hey there, welcome to the chat. If you have any questions about power, please don't hesitate to ask. I'd be more than happy to help you out. But we're currently just running a power test on 6 different systems to see which one works best, and which one you should install into your base. So. Hey there, welcome. Just doing some power system comparison testing here. And while I'm doing that, I'm also answering any questions anybody has. so please feel free. what are we looking at? Alright, so what I'm currently doing is I'm running a test on 6 different power systems, 6 different intake and outtake power systems, and I'm simulating running 9 turrets off of each system. So these two systems right here are running off of 1 wind turbine. These two systems right here are both running off of 10 solar panels each. And then these two systems right here are running off of 1 wind turbine and 3 solar panels. This bottom system right here that's just on wind is set up running a turret system how you would typically want to run your turret system off of the 3-way splitters. And then the other wind turbine system is run off of the electrical tree here, full of electrical branches. And both of these systems are running off of just straight wind turbine. There's no batteries for them, and they're running straight from these switches here in the wind turbines. This system right here on the bottom is straight solar into the battery, and then from the battery back into the system, which is the yellow line right here. And then this system right here is straight solar, but it's being run through my infinite power system and the battery, and then into our mock turrets. And then for our wind turbine slash solar, we have one again running straight into the battery and then into the system, and then we have the next one that's running from our infinite power system into the battery and then through the system. So we have 6 different ways that we're bringing in power and using that power. And we're doing this just so we can find out which power system has the most consistency to be able to fully run 9 turrets and then make sure that you have backup power and everything else like that. This is basically the combination of my next video that I'm going to be making, and it's all about power systems. So I test out all of the best solar panel placements and how many solar panels and stuff that you need for each setup. And then I also did a complete test of wind turbines. I put a wind turbine, I did 11 wind turbines in a row, and I increased the height by 1 floor for each wind turbine, and then let it run through an entire day cycle and found out which one provided the most power. And then I've taken all of that knowledge and made the best power systems for each system, and now I'm just trying to figure out which of those 6 systems runs the best. And so far, from what I can gather, since you guys haven't been here, so far this system seems to be doing the worst, the one that's running straight off of wind turbines and the 3-way splitters, because the 3-way splitters require all of the same amount of power being put through here. So as soon as this system drops below the 94 power that's required to run everything, all of the turrets turn off because there's not enough power now to run any of the turrets. So this system stays on for about 80% of the time, and then that remaining 20% of time it's completely off and unable to power your turrets at all. The next system that runs completely off of wind turbines has about the 80% fully on rate, where all of the turrets are on and running. However, for that remaining 20%, half of the time is still allowing at least half of the turrets or more to run. We'll usually lose 3 or 4 turrets, and it'll continue to run 5. So although we're not completely losing all of our power like we are on this one, we are still losing 3 or 4 turrets every few minutes throughout the day. And then these systems I haven't really done anything with. I haven't really checked them much because I want it to kind of be a surprise at the end. but all of these systems have been running perfectly fine so far. And um, so all of these systems seem to be working perfectly fine so far. So at the end, I'm going to go over and I'm going to double check all of the batteries to see which battery has the most remaining power. And then I'm also going to go over why you should use the infinite power systems on top of your battery charging versus just charging straight into the battery. So if I had to tell you now without looking, just from all of the testing that I've been doing all day, the very best system that you can run is this system right here. So that's going to be one wind turbine and 3 solar panels, all connected into a root combiner. And then from the root combiner here into the infinite power system, which gets split off into the battery and then back into the system. And then from our OR switch into our 4 three-way splitters here. So this seems to be doing the best, because not only has it been on the entire time, but because we're running both wind and solar, the battery is completely just a backup system. So as you can see, we have 4,000 power in there. It's nighttime and we're still charging the battery, and it's not in use. So if this battery was to be destroyed, our entire system would still run. And if our system here was, or our solar and wind up on the roof was destroyed, well then our system will still run. So they have to destroy both the battery and the system upstairs in order for them to deactivate this system. So that's why. So this is the best system. So you want one wind turbine. It's also very important. If you watch the video, you'll know this. The video should be out in a day or two. It's a long one, so I have to take a while to edit it. But your wind turbine should be at least 10 stories tall off the ground. Mine are raised 4 here off the roof, and then I'm 6 stories up off the ground. So you want them at least 10 stories off the ground for them to be getting their maximum power efficiency and to lose the least amount of power. And then we've also discovered that having your panels facing directly south is the best way for you to gather power. If you have them facing in any other direction, it's really not going to help you out. Now, if you do have to put them in a different direction, because it's not always easy being able to place your solar panels and stuff facing directly south, then the second best way that you can place it is going to be southwest, and then the third best way to place it would be southeast, because we do have 1 extra hour of sunlight in the afternoon than we do in the evening. So if you do have to face a panel in a different direction, you want it facing west where the sun sets. Because it doesn't matter what server you're on, it doesn't matter how far through the wipe you're on, the sun will always rise in the southeast. It'll go over the sky through the south and then down to the southwest where it sets. That's always how it works. Doesn't matter what server. Weekly, monthly, it doesn't matter if you're 3 weeks into a monthly, doesn't matter. So having your south-facing panels means you'll collect the most amount of sun throughout the day. Yeah. And then also 1 o'clock is, like 1 p.m. is high solar noon. So the sun comes up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's when you can start producing power as early in the morning. And then 7 o'clock at night is when the power turns off, so it's 11 hours of daytime, 11 in-game hours of daytime, which is approximately 30 to 35 minutes of real-life time. And then nighttime goes for the other 13 hours, but if you look at the clock right now, the time is going, it goes really fast at night, because it's only like 10 or 12 minutes of nighttime, and then it slows down in the morning. So how long did this take me to set up? Well, this probably took me like, I don't know, maybe an hour to set up, less than an hour to set up. just because I already knew what I was doing. I can do all this power in my sleep now, so it didn't take me long to set this up. Um, but if I add in also the power systems setups that I did this morning for solar and wind, that took me a good, I don't know, 2 hours. And then I had to go through a couple day-night cycles, which took me another 2 hours. So I've probably been at this about 6 or 7 hours today. Um, and then I've got another maybe half hour of filming once all of this is done. Yep, always played on console, never played on PC before. And I also, like, when it comes to watching Rust videos on YouTube, I watch, people like Wayland and Blueprint and Oblivion, and I watch everything like that, but I really tried to shy away from a lot of the tutorial videos, um, like dealing with power and stuff. I wanted to figure it out all on my own. So I spent the 3 months that the electricity was on Test Branch. I basically went on there every day or every day, every other day, and just messed around with the power to figure it all out. And then I was going to record videos for me to remember my setups and stuff like that. And then I figured, you know what, while I'm doing that, I might as well put out a couple videos for other people to help them. And then my channel blew up as soon as power came out, so I figured I would continue doing the tutorials and up my quality a little bit, and throw in some intros and stuff, so. That's my next question. So you're doing like what I'm doing now, just messing with power as I learn the game also. Yep, that's basically it. So, I mean, I did watch a little bit at the beginning, just so I had an idea of what I was doing. But then I've just been messing around and playing with it ever since, trying to figure out how to get things done. And because of my YouTube, lots of people have been asking me different questions on how can I do this, how can I do that. And I've been going to their bases on main branch and stuff like that, setting up their power. So they're always asking me for new and different things to run in their bases. So it helps me by having to figure out how to do that. And the more systems I've built, the easier it is for me to figure it out. What do you do for real life work? If you can say, it seems like your brain is designed for this stuff. Actually, I run my own business with, I have my best friend, me and him are business partners. We do exterior house cleaning. So we mostly specialize and focus in window cleaning. And then I also do power washing, and I do driveways and polymeric sand and stuff like that. But we specialize in window cleaning because we're a ladderless service. We don't use any soaps, no chemicals. We just have these really long poles and a really fancy water filter that we filter their house water through. Just takes all the chemicals and minerals out. And then we have 32-foot long extendable poles, so from the ground we just scrub all the frames, give all the glass a good scrub, and then give everything a rinse. And because we don't use chemicals, and there's nothing in our water to leave spots or streaks, our windows dry spot-free and static-free, so they last a lot longer. And it only takes us about 45 minutes to do an average 2-story house. And we'll do like 8 to 10 of them a day. So that's what I do for work. So I'm constantly dealing with numbers and stuff. But before that, I've done like years and years and years of temp work because I get bored easily. So I've done everything when it comes to like building and plumbing and electrical and basically a jack of all trades. Very cool, sir. Thanks for sharing. All in Canada, so totally unrelated to power systems and electrics. Like this is interesting. I work in tech, but this stuff is still tough for my brain. But all in time. Yeah, honestly, yeah. So I don't do anything related to electrical and stuff, but I have in the past done stuff kind of like this. And I've just always been very apt to figure this kind of stuff out. and you know, it's just I don't know. I get a big kick out of building and doing all this power and stuff. Thank God that we don't have the industrial update right now because like my life is already consumed by this game enough. But if I had the industrial update, I'd be making entire bases that just craft and farm themselves and stuff. So, so you've got a little background in critical thinking. Yeah. So like it's not my first rodeo. I you know I know how to follow diagrams and blueprints and like I've built houses and wiring and I'm designing my own tiny home that I'm going to build on my property and stuff like that. It's going to have fold-out slides, and I'm going to be able to pull it around on a trailer and stuff. So farming will be fun, and then add industrial. Absolutely, farming will be awesome. So my hotel-based design, I'm I haven't really been working on that too much lately because I've been so focused on power, but I've got the whole core design laid out, and in the core of it, it gives me 16 loot rooms that I can, oh, well, actually, if I really think about it, and if I really wanted to, I would have 24 loot rooms in it. So I can have a whole, you know, section of my base completely dedicated to just farming hemp, and then I can have a whole another section of my base completely dedicated to berries and stuff for making teas, and then I have a whole other section completely dedicated to furnaces, and then you know a loot room, and it's all spread out. So that's like my Mona Lisa that I'm working on right there. Is my hotel base because it's gonna include a little bit of everything. But yeah, when it comes to the electricity, um, once you once you get a grasp of how to bring the power in, and then how to send the power out and use the power, everything else after that basically becomes easy. I'm trying to learn as much about power before farming comes out. That'll be key for the update, yeah, right. Well, yeah, because you'll have to, at that point, you'll have to run sprinklers, you'll have to run hoses, you'll have to run lights and stuff like that. So, um, but the way I find power to be the easiest is you want to try and condense everything down to the smallest point, and like try and remove as much as I can. So if I have 5 different farm plots that I have to run, right? I would much rather run 5 little mini systems than one big system. If you understand what I'm saying, rather than running everything all together, I'd rather run 5 little mini systems. So then that way my system can be adjustable. So if I want to run 6 systems, all I have to do is add one mini system. If I want to run 4 systems, then I only have to add 4 mini systems, right? So, and then that'll also help me calculate my power. So if I need 1 power for my sprinkler and 2 for the lights and stuff like that, then I know that each little planter box system, right? I call it each little thing that I do systems, but each little planter box system will take 6 power, right? And then I know that because it only takes 6 power, I can run, you know, 15 of them off of a large battery if I wanted to. No, so when it comes to here, I'll give you a quick example, right? So I've got it uh, set up a wall here. Ah, shit. Alright, so the very first thing you should do is the main thing that most people I find don't understand or have the hardest time with is running power from the battery, like how to divide all of the power nicely and stuff like that. So the main way that you want to run your power, So for me, I always do at the very beginning, I always do my infinite power system. Right? Always, always, always. Right? And then that's just going to run in from your root combiner where all of your power connects. So in this case, I have it set up here to the switch just so I can turn it on and off when I want to. You're going to need your OR switch. And then I'm just hooking this up really fast just so you can get an idea of it. I'll disconnect this and this. So then we go from our right side into here, to there, and then this goes into our battery. And then our battery out goes into our blocker. And because we're on a large battery, we're configuring this to 99. So now we have our battery system set up. Right, everything's running, our solar's running, everything is good. Did I just turn that on or off? Oh, I'm not hooked up to my solar. Give me a second. Wait, why is that? What happened here? Yeah, I totally did not hook that up right. I was wondering what was happening there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Quick tip too, however many solar panels or whatever it is you have hooked up, you need one less root combiner to get them all going. So if you have 10 solar panels you need to hook up, you need 9 root combiners. Just a little quick tip there. Alright, now we go. Did you get my direct message on Facebook? I think so. I'll probably have to check. Not 100% sure. Okay, so anyway, we've got our system going. So most people don't understand how to get their power like going properly. So the easiest way and the best thing that I can tell everybody is you want to make an electrical tree using electrical branches. Alright, so we're just gonna, in this case I'm gonna put 5. Alright, and then we're gonna go from our power out into here. And now from the right side of our electrical branch, we're going to go into the next one, and we're going to continue to daisy chain them off like this. Right, that's the simplest and cleanest setup that you can have. So now so this right here is called your power management system. Right, so this is a system in and of itself. Right, if you're going to hook this up, you should also hook this up. The only time you don't hook these up is if you're running this to a turret system, in which case you go from here directly into here, or a switch first. I would do a switch first, into here and then into your turrets. But otherwise, if you're doing anything else other than turrets, you do it like this. Or you want less than 9 turrets, then you do it like this. So let's say, for instance, this is just a solo setup. And because we're running a large battery, we want to have 6, let's say, let me just make a couple of these. Let's just say we want to have 6 turrets going, right? So we'll set up our first 3-way splitter. We'll set up another three-way splitter and our electrical branch. Now we're going to go from the left side of our branch here, and I'll change the color for you, into our electrical branch, and then from the left side into here, from the right side into here. And now we have to do two things. So this, in order to run our turrets, we're going to need 30 power for our turrets, plus 1 in order to run the splitter. So we're going to configure this to be 31. Now we have the same over here, so this is also going to be 31. So we have 31 and 31, that's 62. Plus we have to run this electrical branch, that makes 63. So we come over here and we set it to 63. Alright, so now our turrets are all up and running. We should have our 63 power going into there. And then 62 power is left, so it will get 31, 31, and then we're running our turrets. So now let's say that we live in the cold biome and we want to run a heater. Alright, we're living out in the snow. So let's grab one of those. So now we'll grab a heater. So we're going to set up our heater. But we're going to connect our heater to the next electrical branch on our electrical tree. Now the heater requires 3 power, so we just come over here, we're going to configure this to 3. And now we're running our heater. So every time we connect something to it, we're going to configure our electrical branch to be exactly the amount of power that we need to run that system. So this is a turret system. This is a heater system. Right? And then you have a camera system, an automatic door system. But whatever power you have left over is going to be spit out into the next electrical branch. Like this. So we still have 30 power left over that we can play with after adding our heater and our turrets. Would you add a switch to it, or a timer, or leave it on 24/7? Well, one thing that I like to do that most people don't do, and I haven't really seen this tip around too many places, is I don't use switches at all. I use electrical branches in place of switches, right? Because the electrical branch can only be configured by people who have TC authorized access. So right now, most people would look at this and go, okay, well, everything is all set up and that's all fine, but now how do I turn it off in order to fill my turrets, right? If like they run out of ammo or authorize my friend. Well, all you have to do is simply walk up to this branch and configure it to a number lower than what it actually needs. So in this case, we can do 0, which will automatically change it to our default 2. And as soon as we do that, all of our turrets will turn off because we're no longer supplying them with power. So instead of having a switch in between here, we just use our electrical branch. And then as soon as we want to give back the power to our system, right, so we need 31, 31, so 62, 63. So as soon as we want to turn our turrets back on, we give it the 63 power that we wanted to, or that it needs, and then our turrets turn back on. And it's the same thing for this heater right here, right? So we can turn this heater off by simply lowering this back down to 0, and then our heater turns off. So if you are logging off at the end of the day and you don't want any of your systems on, or anybody else to be able to access any of your systems, you just simply lower the power values lower than whatever it is running it after it needs. And 99 times out of 100, the default 2 will be low enough to turn anything else off afterwards that's running on it. So again, you always create yourself an electrical tree using electrical branches, and then you just hook all of your power off of those electrical trees. Hey, what's up, Swift Coyote? How's it going, buddy? I will definitely be able to talk to you here I'm just waiting for the next 8 a.m. cycle to happen. So if you can give me 20-30 minutes, we'll be able to have a chat. Yeah. But yeah, so Steven, that's how you want to run all of your systems off of your power system, right? So anything that I would after this, I consider it a system, right? And like this is the full-size turret system. This is a half-size turret system. Um, this is a mini turret system, right? And again, this still works the same way. So instead of hooking this directly up into the three-way splitter, you can hook it up to an electrical branch, or in this case, if you were only running 3 turrets, you could directly go from the electrical branch into there, and again, just configure this to the default 2, and it won't have enough power. Like I asked you about trying to add auto lights, that was tricky, but once I did it, it made sense. Yeah, so auto lights are easy, so we'll just put this one here. Let's say, so let's turn everything back on, right? So we'll configure that 63, configure this back to be 3 again. So now we run over on auto lights. Now, as long as we're not running any wind turbines and we're only running solar, then this will work. So we're going to go from, so we're going to add an electrical branch. Pretend the switch is in here. So we're coming right from the root combiner into this electrical branch. Right? And then from the right side, we're going to go back into our infinite power system. And then from the left side, we're going to go into our blocker to block the blocker. And then we're going to go from our electrical tree into there, and then from there into our light. So now, as you can see, the blocker is being blocked because our solar is producing power. So it's sending the 2 out. And then as soon as we stop producing solar power, then that's when this will stop being blocked, and it'll automatically just let the power go through. But again, remember, the ceiling light takes 2 power, the blocker takes power, so we have to configure this to 3. Now, as soon as we stop receiving power from the solar, this light will kick in automatically, and we're good to go. And again, we still have 26 remaining power left over to play with. So if you wanted to hook up, turrets, or more turrets, or door camper alarm system, more heaters if you have a big base, that's what you do. So we have a turret system, we have a heater system, and we have a light system. The blockers what messed you up yesterday? Yeah. Do you guys have active usage on batteries on console? Yes, we do. This one isn't being actively used, but this one right here is. So we have 45 minutes, and it's going up. Active usage 24 because I'm simulating on this wall right here, running all of the turrets at full power. I have 6 different power systems set up right here, and I'm just trying to figure out which one is the best one. So, which I will know here at 8 o'clock in the morning in game time. Yeah, so this one isn't part of the test. This is just the one that I've been using for to mess around. But these ones are all part of the test. And so far, the one that I thought was going to be doing the best is doing the best, which is perfect. Yeah, I have to use the bathroom real quick here, boys. I will be right back, but I'm going to go sit here in front of this display panel so we can, because this is the main thing we've been focusing on before I make my video. What is the main systems we should use for solo people, or is it all subjective? Completely subjective. give me a minute, and I'll let you know what I think to be the best system. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so what are the main systems you should be using as a solo? Let me see here. If I can mess with cameras and stuff on Test Branch. Yes, so they're not in any of these build menus, unfortunately. The thing is you do have to go and farm them. So out on the water, actually, funny enough, on the test branch, because I'm actually on main branch right now on the build server, but on the build servers there are floating junk piles out there. So you actually have to go and find them. That's the only problem with the cameras on here right now, is you actually have to find them. But cameras are super easy. You just stick them on the wall, you hook up some power to it, and then you set the ID, and then you go and you pull up your computer station, set the ID that matches, and you're good to go. And then another thing is if you have, I think it's either the wire tool or the hammer, or either or, and you actually have it all wired and everything, you can then turn the camera and position the camera to face how you want. So what I like to do is I like to put them high up on my base, and then I put one on each cardinal direction, looking down, so then that way I get a full 360 degree view of the base. So they're on test branch, you just have to go find them out in the floating junk piles. But it's easy to do because you can just literally spawn yourself 400 low grade, go hop in a boat, drive around, and you'll find them pretty quickly. As for the best systems, well, you're going to want your auto lights, that's for sure. If you're just a solo, I would run your 6 turrets, and then your auto lights. If you're in the cold biome, you definitely want your heater. But there are a few things that you can set up. So you can do, say, a door camper alarm system. So that's just a siren light, heartbeat sensor. So you set up your heartbeat sensor, you set up a siren light. Now this heartbeat sensor should be outside your front door, and you want to have it about a story and a half tall, just so people can't hit it with a spear and break it, because believe me, it'll piss you off. And then you just go from that into that. So and then you have this on the inside of your base. So if anybody's outside your base, that will turn on. Outside your front door, that will turn on. And then you'll know somebody's out there and not to go outside. And then as soon as they leave, you'll know that it's safe. Alright, so that's, I would definitely have one of those. If you're solo, it's going to help you out. Another thing I would do is I would have some automatic doors. Can you even do what? As the next system I'm trying to work on, along with the pager or something, so I can get notified. Yeah, so if you want to do something like that, it's going to be a little bit different. So, you have your heartbeat sensor, pair your radar, raid detection system with a pager. Yeah. So you need a broadcaster. You need your pager. Down there. Alright, and then we're going to set this frequency to 0420. Confirm. And then we're going to go on our pager, set frequency 0420. And then now, when you can hear the pager going now. Beep, beep. And then there you go. Sure. So if you're, so yeah, so that's how you can set up a beeper to let you know that other people are there. You can also put this beeper in a box, and it'll also still beep. And so you'll be able to hear this thing, and it'll beep. Okay, so for the battery system, there's two ways you can do it. I would recommend that you do it this way, where you have one solar panel up on the roof that goes into this electrical branch right here. And then from the left side of the electrical branch into the blocker, and then the right side into the battery, and then from the battery to the blocker, and then from the blocker to the lights. It's a battery backup. Yeah, it's a battery backup, but it's also kind of like infinite power, because you're never ever going to run out of power, and they have to destroy both systems in order for it to be demolished. So you're basically getting an infinite amount of power. It's never going to go down. It is a battery backup, but it's like a... And then if you're doing solar only, though, that's more of a backup system, because that's only running at night. Okay, so that's how I would do your light system. So solar panel into this, from here to your battery, blocker, and then into your lights. But if you're doing just, if you want to include it into your system, you're going to do what I've done here. So, so from your root combiner, you're going to go into an electrical branch, and this only works if you're only using solar, by the way. So from your solar into your electrical branch, and then from the right side of your electrical branch into your power system or your battery. I would highly recommend you put your power system, but power system for your battery, and then from your branch into your blocker. And then the left side of this then goes into your blocker port. So your electrical branch has to be before your battery and before your power system, but after your solar. And then your blocker has to be somewhere on your electrical tree after the battery. So the power is coming in, going through that electrical branch, going through the power system, coming out here, going through your electrical tree, and then into the blocker and out, and then it's also blocking. So then that way, when the solar stops sending power, it'll stop sending power out the left side here, which will no longer block the blocker, and then it'll send that power into your light. Just make sure that for one ceiling light in your blocker, you have 3 power, and then you add 2 more power for each ceiling light afterwards that you add on to it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of semantics. I mean, I like to think of it as infinite, right? Like, you never have to worry about power at all. It might as well be infinite. You're collecting way more power than you need. It's never being used, right? Like, the battery's just sat here this whole time. All of these turrets have been going, and it's sat here off. You know what I mean? It's just been collecting power this whole time, so. So, with this system, as long as you're running both a wind turbine and a couple of solar, this battery is purely for backup. So this battery can be destroyed, and the whole system will continue to run. Or vice versa, the whole power system upstairs can be destroyed, and the whole power intake system can be destroyed, and then the battery will take over. So they have to destroy both systems, or they have to come down in here and destroy this system in order to do that. But if you guys follow my last video where I do my advanced power system guide, then at the end of it I show you how to hide this whole system in a loot room so it never gets blown up unless they somehow come through the back of the wall, which is possible, but by then they've already gone ahead and destroyed all of the turrets and stuff to get to that point, or at least they should have. Infinite power will still give power. Well, yeah, but I'm not sure how you would actually do an actual infinite power system. Like, I don't know how that would ever be possible, because that's got to be like a glitch or something if you're getting an infinite power, no matter how everything's broken. So, I don't really quite understand. Infinite power after the main power source was destroyed. The battery wouldn't drain. Oh, okay, so it was a glitch. If the battery wouldn't drain, then it was definitely a glitch. So what do you think the biggest mistakes people make with power? Well, for one, I think the main thing with power, especially after having played with it for this many months, is people think that once they know how to do one or two systems, that they're a pro, and that there isn't anything better out there, that there isn't anything more to learn. When there totally is. There's like 100 different things that you can do with power, and people only ever use turrets and a few other small things. So it's really limiting the quality of life that you can have, right? So, like every one of these things that you hook up should in some way, shape, or form improve the quality of your life in the game. Like for me, for instance, I hate closing doors, so I'll use a whole entire battery just so I can do my my lockdown system, and then be able to close 70 doors at the flip of a button, right? At the flip of a switch, and then I also have it set up to where if I'm playing with a big group of people who constantly forget to close doors or forget to flip switches to close doors, then it automatically does it by itself, And then, so I think that's one of the biggest things. The second biggest thing I think that people have a problem with is efficiency, right? If you walk into a base and you see spaghetti wires all around the base. Like this looks really quite neat if compared to a lot of what I've seen around. But you get spaghetti wires everywhere, and then people can't follow their lines anymore. They don't know how much power is on each line. So I find that if you get comfortable building specialized systems, right, and you're always building the same system, then you'll be able to manage your power much easier. And then the other thing is, the last thing I think that people make the biggest mistake is, which is a main reason why I'm making this video right here, is lots of people think that, I can just run 9 turrets off a windmill, no problem, it only turns off for a second or two here and there. Well, yeah, but there's so many downsides to running a system like this that you're actually kicking yourself in the foot and hurting yourself by doing that. So that's why I'm making this video, so I can compare each different type of power intake and outtake and all of the power systems into one to show you guys that building these more advanced systems, which really aren't that much more advanced, you know, it's four extra pieces, can save you so much time and heartache. Seems like powers. Oh man, it really is. And like, you know, the industrial update has been out on PC Rust now for God knows how long. And I'm only seeing these super simple little setups and like, ooh, you know, I crafted an AK and, you know, like I did this with it, and you know, I smelted some ore through this, and bro, if I had access to all of that stuff, oh my god, I would have a base that crafts everything for me. You would just dump all of your stuff into a chest in one room, and then you would walk over to the next room, and everything would be perfectly sorted for you. The vending machines would automatically fill themselves. You would have full kits being made for you, and it would all be set up in 3 rooms, right? And then the entire inside of the base would just be one big fucking factory. And I'd have no life. Right? But, like, people don't understand, too. Like, they give you so much power stuff to play with that, you know, you can make clocks in this game, you can make, code, you know, you can make actual, you know, code locks and stuff like that using AND switches and OR switches. You can make little mini computers in this game if you wanted to. You can make calculators using all of this electronics. Granted, it would be a lot of electronics, but yeah, you could make a calculator where you input certain values and then it would show you on the counters how much, what the numbers would be. So there's a lot of stuff. Sorry, I just lost my chat. Gonna open up YouTube again. Yeah. Well, and Swift's absolutely right too. A lot of it is just math. Like, and some of the math is confusing too. Because like one gentleman on my newest video, right? I had to figure out, you know, 80 per, because you get your 20% loss, right, on the video. So I was like, okay, well, you need 2,500 power in order to get to 2,000, and he's like, well, you know, 500 isn't 20% of 2,000. I'm like, well, I know 400 is 20%, but we're not looking for 20% of 2,000. We're looking to find out what 80%, what the extra 20% is for the 80. Right? So we have to find out what 2,000 is 80% of, right? Which turned out to be 2,500, right? And then you have to divide that by how many days you can collect solar and, or how many hours during the in-game time you can collect solar and this, that, and the other. So it is a bunch of confusing math. But then at the same time, once you've done the math once, you never have to do it again. Oh, Swift. That's what I needed to talk to you about too. The Sun works completely different on Rust console than it does on the PC. Like, it's 100% different. The Sun always 100%. It doesn't matter what server you're on, how far through the wipe you are. It does not matter. The sun always rises in the southeast, and it always sets in the southwest. And you're always, always, always going to get the most power out of your south-facing, panels. It does not go above overhead. It always sticks to the south. When you watch this video, because I'm going to be making the video for this here soon, I've gone through and I've completely tested all of the wind turbines and at different heights. I've tested all of the solar panels in different directions. And yeah, so on PC Rust, Um, on PC Rust, it works different. So on PC Rust, it starts on on like the south side, southeast, and then it works its way over to the northeast. Because in PC Rust, it calculates it as the sun moving over the course of the year. So like the very first day is May 21st, and then over the course of the month, it moves. So if you're on a weekly server, right, you only ever have to face your solar panels in one direction because the sun won't move far enough across the sky for it to affect you. But if you're on a monthly server, the last week, the sun is on the complete opposite side of the map than the other side. You're very welcome, Crystal Gardens. I'm glad they're helping. I originally started making these videos to help myself remember my builds and stuff like that. And then I figured, you know, I might as well put them online for other people to see. And what if you live all the way? It doesn't matter what part of the map you live on, you always face your solar panels south. Always, always, always. And if you can't face it south, you want to face it southwest. And if you can't face it southwest, then you want to face it southeast. One of the things I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to be as descriptive as I can, as I possibly can for you guys, which is why, you know, like I made almost 20 videos on power right at the very beginning without, before I even like really thought I was actually going to make YouTube, but I thought I'd just throw a couple tutorials out. And then once power actually came out on main branch, my viewer count and everything went through the roof. Like I'm at over 10,000 views now, just in the last 28 days alone. So it's been exponential. I'm well over a quarter of the way to the partnership program now. So that's when I actually started putting together, you know, higher quality videos. I've made an intro and an outro, and I try to make some thumbnails and stuff, and you know, make things a little bit more interesting for you guys. But I've taken all of the knowledge and stuff that I've learned off of the first few videos, and now I'm trying to take all of the questions that I got asked off of those first few videos and make more of an advanced series that takes all of those questions and tries to explain it in a way that more people will understand how this works. So, which is why I've spent the last 6-7 hours today building all of this stuff. So on my next video, you'll have a complete understanding of how the power works and why you want to set up this system versus the other system. One year in game equals 15 days IRL for PC for sun movement. I'd like to include console stuff, but I don't have a console. And then answering questions like this today help even more. Most, if not all, other people don't really do this. I mean, I hope so. What I find to be really cool, because I advertise on like 15 different Facebook groups. That's where I put out all my new videos, and at the beginning, that's where I got about 90% of my traffic from. But since so many people have been coming to my videos and I've been getting a lot of subscribers, I'm actually getting recommended a lot. So about 3/4 of my views now come directly from YouTube and their recommendations and their search stuff. So people like Jade Monkey and Oblivion and Willjum and stuff, I'm actually getting viewers coming over from them who are watching my stuff, which is really good because like Jade Monkey, his tutorials are garbage. So I'm glad that people are coming over here, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedback and stuff. Found me through YouTube recommendations. Yeah, so YouTube's just been pushing out my stuff like crazy. I think it knows the little niche that I'm in, and I've just been getting views like crazy. My whole channel's just blown up. It's been great, and I wasn't even doing this for that, but I'm also considering running my own custom private server when they come out, and I want to buy like a top-of-the-line server. So having this as a platform I think is really going to help my bring in new players onto the server, which will help me fund the server and just be able to make a really good server for it. And then what I can do is I can set up all of these tutorials and all of these different wiring examples and stuff like that. Um, because I'll have admin access, I can just set it all up, and then people can come to my server and get an in-depth look and an in-game view of all of my wiring setups and how to do it, and I can give little classes and stuff like that. So yeah, so I want to make like a whole synergy of all of these things together, and then come next year when I'm off work again, um, I'll be able to actually make an income and not have to worry about finding a secondary job for the winter, which I think will be pretty awesome. So I am going to be doing, it's going to be a solo duo trio. I think a trio is the perfect size group because nobody wants to play alone. So I think running a trio would probably be the best. But I'm also going to make it so where it's PvP and monuments only throughout the week, because I want to give people a chance to build up. I want you to farm. I want you to be able to, use the tech tree. I don't want you to have to worry about being raided throughout the week. And then on the weekend, it's just no holds barred, no rules. You kill anything, blow anything up you want. So weekends are going to be absolutely insane because people are going to have the week to build up, and then on the weekend they're just going to go nuts and blow everything up. And it's also geared towards the people who work 9 to 5, don't want to have to get raided every night. So, the people who only have 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 hours a day to play. And it also gives me a chance to do a whole bunch of like RP stuff. Like if say you are a solo and you come and play on my server, well, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to meet a couple of cool other solos and a cool other new people to the game or whatever, and then you guys can create a small little team, and then once you guys have lots of experience and stuff like that, it's just going to help you on other servers if you guys want to move over there, but it's also going to help you on this server because now you have a team, right? So but it'll be a lot easier to find that team when you don't have to worry about being killed by every single person that you're running into, right? People will be more talking to each other. But at the same time, I also don't want to make it too easy, so I am going to keep all the PV, all the monuments, full PvP all the time. You're going to have to go earn your loot. You'll just have an easier time with your farming and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of different ideas for it. It's just a matter of what kind of permissions they give us. And when it comes out. Yeah, so I'm going to have 3 different tiers. So there's going to be free to play, and that means when you start, every time you spawn, whether you're dead, you die or whatever, you're going to spawn in, you're going to have stone tools, and you're going to have pumpkins. And that's basically it. You're going to have stone tools, you're going to have pumpkins, and that's just going to be your starter gear for all the free players. It's going to have a 3-month BP wipe, but it's going to be a bi-weekly wipe. So every 2 weeks the server is going to wipe. Every month you're going to get a new map, and then every 3 months all of the BPs wipe. If you get a regular VIP, right, then you're going to start with metal tools, and some cloth clothing, and a med stick. Alright, so you'll have a nice easier start. You'll be able to spawn, hit yourself with a med stick, get a bunch of health, and you're going to have some cloth clothes and some stone tools to start. It's also going to give you priority queue, and maybe a few other small things. And then VIP Plus will completely remove, you won't need BPs anymore, so your BPs will be gone. Because they'll already all be unlocked for you. You'll start with salvage tools, you'll start with like a sweater, pants, and boots, and you'll have a med pack, like an actual med box every time you spawn. So, just stuff to make your life a little easier, nothing crazy, you're not going to get any guns, you're not going to get anything like that, but, you'll definitely,
you'll definitely feel it. And then those will be monthly subscriptions, or if you want to get a 3 month subscription, then you guys can save a little bit of money that way too. And I'm gonna keep it cheap, so like regular VIP is $5 a month, or $10 for 3 months. And if you want VIP Plus, it's going to be $10 a month or $25 for 3 months. And then as for my hotel is always going to be a safe zone, um, but that's going to be it's going to be $2 a day, like $2 real, for every day that you stay there, and a maximum of 7 days every 3 months. So for 1 week out of 3 months, it'll cost you $14, and you can stay in the hotel for a week. So you don't have to worry about being raided on the weekend. You'll have access to all of the workbenches and stuff like that. So it'll be really good for people who are just hopping onto the server and want to get a leg up. So say you hop in on a Thursday and you don't want to have to worry about being raided for the weekend, right? You just buy a week worth of hotel. You stay in the hotel, you build yourself up, and then after your week, you go and you move and you build yourself a nice big base or whatever you want. um, but then you can't move back in for 3 months. Right, so you'll get once per wipe, because I don't want people living in there full time and not being able to be raided or anything like that. So it'll be kind of like a little fun experience that you can try for a little bit. And it'll have all of these power setups and everything set up inside. And I'm also going to be running like a nightclub. Uh, I'm thinking about it. Um, I am thinking about charging for my time, just because some of these systems take, like an hour or so to run, and or an hour to set up. Sometimes it's 2 hours to set up. One guy I was helping him for about 5.5 hours. So at the time, it was kind of worth it um, for the content. But I think at that point, when I'm running my own server and stuff like that, I'll actually have to charge people for lessons and stuff like that. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably create a couple of blueprints for what I think should be like the best designs for different group base sizes and stuff, and then I'll just charge people per blueprint that they want. So if you only want a solo setup, I'll charge you $5 because it'll only take me 20 minutes to set up or less. All right, but if you want a big 5 battery system, well, I'm gonna charge you like 25, $30 because it's gonna take me an hour or two. All right, so I might do something like that, but um, and then for anybody who doesn't want to pay or whatever, I'll just send them to my YouTube, and then they can get all the tutorials for how to build everything. Yeah, let me know how to pick your brain live on a server for an hour or two. I mean, for right now, I don't mind. If you ever want to get together, just add me on PSN, XX Hydra XX. Here, I'll even put it in the chat for you. So that's my PSN. So if you guys ever want to, you're on Xbox. All right. You're on Xbox. Hold on a second. I have the Xbox app just for that. But do you have Discord? Because PlayStation just got Discord. Okay, yeah, the PlayStation just got Discord, so this is my 4, 5. So that's my Discord. If you add me on Discord, then we can join into a Discord chat, and then I can just push the call onto my PlayStation, and then I can just talk to you through my PlayStation, as if we were just on a PSN chat. Yeah, talking through the other Xbox app is a little weird too, but I have it just in case, you know. But yeah, so at that. Live game chat sucks because it's always delayed by like a second or two, and then you end up talking over each other and be a pain in the ass. And that's the other thing too, is like once the custom servers do come out, I am gonna have to create like a custom Discord server for it and everything. It's about a second and a half. Depends on your ping. There are times when I could... Yeah, it's delayed. I know that. I've never actually sat down and like measured it, but like I would be able to say all of this, and it would only just be going through now, sort of thing. Right. So I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. Alright, so I have to kill myself real quick. Okay, so since I have you guys here, we might as well, and this is the end of my test, we might as well go over everything that we've learned. So, first things first, these two systems are wind turbines only. This is one wind turbine, this is one wind turbine. Is it possible to run 9 turrets off of one wind turbine? Yes, it is totally possible. As you can see, they are running right now. Right, I have 9 turrets running off of one wind turbine, provided the wind turbine is 10 stories high. So it does work. Would I recommend this? No, I would not. Why would I not recommend this? Well, first of all, let's start with this system down here. So this system right down here, which is our yellow system, is running directly into our 3-way splitters here, how we would normally set up our turret system. But because of that, as soon as we drop below the 104 power that we need to run everything, every single one of the turrets turn off. And having sat here and watched it for about 3.5 day cycles now, what I've discovered is that these are on about 80% of the time. So 20% of the time that these that you're on and playing, your turrets don't actually run. None of them. So this is the worst setup that I think you could possibly do, although it does work. So one wind turbine directly into these, it does work, but 80% of the time. This too has about the 80% rate to have all of 9 turrets going, because again it's also on one wind turbine, so about 80% of the time all of them are going. However, this is a little bit different because we have this set up on our electrical tree over here, so each one of these are being powered independently, and it's only when these stop getting power do we actually lose the counters. So typically we'll have 5, we'll get down to as low as 5 of these running at any one time, and then the odd time they will turn off. So about I want to say 80% of the time these are always going to be on. For about another, I want to say 10% of the time, you'll have at least half of them running, and then the other 10% of the time, none of them will run. Just sent you a request or a message on Discord where it says it didn't get delivered since we're not friends. I don't use Discord often. So you have to go to your friends thing and then search for friends, and then it'll be able to you'll be able to search for me. Or you can send your Discord in the chat there and I'll look for it in a little bit when I'm done. Because I have to record the rest of my video when I'm done here in a minute. Okay, so now moving on to the second set of systems. So we have two systems here that are completely running off of 10 solar panels each. So we have 10 solar panels going in here, and then we have 10 solar panels going into here. Now let's start with this first system down here. So this is our yellow line. So we're going to go check on our yellow battery. So with our yellow battery, we have our active usage of 94, and we have 4,300 plus power running into our battery. But now we have to go look at the exact same system, but running off of the infinite power system, which is this, or the battery backup system, which is running off of this. So let's go check out our blue battery. So we have 0 active usage, and we have 4,600 capacity. So we have 300 more capacity that we've charged on top of this one. Both of them are running the exact same amount of power in, right? So they're both being powered by the same exact power. And the big difference, though, is that this one, not only does it have more capacity to run, but this is also only becomes a backup for at night. So during the day, this battery doesn't run at all, and this battery will turn off only at night. So if this battery does get destroyed, at least during the day, which is 3/4 of the time you're playing, your power system will continue to run, and it's only at night that your power system will be off. Whereas with this battery, if this battery gets destroyed, then your whole system is turned off. So this is why running the battery backup system, or the infinite power system, is much better than not running it. So it's like it does a double duty. And then last but not least, we have what I believe to be the best setups, and this is one wind turbine with 3 solar panels. So we have this one here, as well as this one up here. So now the green one down here, this is just running right into the thing. We have our 94 active usage, and then we have almost 5,700 capacity left. So we have over an hour, which is lots of time. But if we switch over to the red system, which is running off of the infinite power system, you can see that we have 7,400 power, almost 7,500, and it's not being used at all. Now, the big difference between running a solar only and a wind turbine and solar only is that this battery is purely for backup, right? So your system will always be on because we're always supplying it with enough power. About 99% of the time, we're always supplying this battery with enough power that even if this battery gets destroyed completely, our systems will always be on and functional. And vice versa. If our power system upstairs gets destroyed, then our battery will kick in, and then we have lots of extra battery power because look how quickly we're charging. So if I was to give this another few more hours, this battery would be completely full. So we would get a couple hours of backup battery power. So again, this is both running off of the same exact power intake source, only this one has 2,000 more power than this one. And this one is purely for backup. That's it, right? So this is by far the best power system that you could possibly run into your base without ever having to worry about power. Because this never turned off once, and we have the most amount of power being supplied as backup. So if you have to choose, it's going to be wind turbine, 3 solar, and an infinite power system. And then it's wind turbine, 3 solar to battery. And then we have 10 solar only with the infinite power system, and then we have 10 solar only. Then we have 1 wind turbine only with the electrical tree, and then we have in the last place we have 1 wind turbine only and the standard turrets setup. So this is why it's super important that you use some of these systems, because you don't want to be this guy. You don't want to be these guys, right? Don't be these guys. These guys are okay, but these guys know what the fuck they're doing, right? So yeah, if you want to just throw something down quick, sure, go ahead. And the other bad thing about this too is you don't, if you have wind turbines up on your base, especially if it's a small base, you're just asking to be rated, right? Whereas these solar panels, you can actually hide these solar panels behind quarter walls or low walls, right? You can actually put solar panels behind those, and it'll only, it it doesn't really affect you very much in order to put low walls all the way around your roof. So you can actually hide all of your solar panels behind low walls. Alright, so if I was to, can I put one there? No. But yeah, the shadow that these things create aren't enough to really block the solar panel that much. So you can use them to hide it. But honestly, if you really never want to have to worry about power, then it's 1 wind turbine, 3 solar panels, and an infinite power system. Right, and then if you want to, if you're just on a small system, you run an electrical tree after your infinite power system, and if it's just for turrets only, then you just connect directly into your turret system. So yeah, so this is definitive proof of how you bring in your power, and how you run it through your system matters. So yeah, hope this helps, guys. Do electro branches so active uses for themselves, or just whatever the branch out is set to. So it shows the power in, right? And then it doesn't tell you that it uses one. It just uses one, but it'll tell you what's kicked out the left, and then it'll tell you what's what you have left over out the right. So we're getting 98 power in. You automatically drop one down to 97, so we have 97 power to play with. And we're kicking off the 63 to the left, which means we have 34 remaining for the right-hand side. So after we have all of this set up and everything running here, we still have 23 power left that we can play with, or 22 power, the one that, because we gotta drop off the one for the electrical branch. Yeah. So 98 will minus 1, 97, and then it just, we kick out exactly the amount of power that we need, and then the rest will be split off into the next one. And then we kick off exactly how much power we need, then it kicks off to the next one. Exactly how much we need, kicks off. Vice versa. Oh, 100%. Right? As soon as somebody sees your wind turbine, they think you're rich. Right? So, yeah, don't use wind turbines if you're a solo or a duo. Right? It just tells people that you're rich and it's just a big "Come raid me" sign. Whereas again, if you if you have your before you put down your solo, or before you put down your solar, if you go around and do little quarter walls, right? You can put this up here like this, and yes, as the sun comes up a little bit, you're gonna lose a little bit of daylight hitting it, but really not really, right? And then you can set up more in there, and then when you're out here, or you're down on the ground, right? You don't even know that there's when you're down on the ground, you don't even know that there's solar there. And most keen observers will only also think that this is a half wall, and that you've honeycombed the top of your base. They won't know that this is actually for solar. So that's why having solar up on your roof is better. And then if you hide the system in one of your loot rooms, like I showed you in my advanced power system guide, then people won't even know you have power at all, right? The only way that they'll actually know that you have power is if they can hear your turrets running, right? But they'll know that you have turrets, but they'll have no idea where your power system is to blow it up. So, but on the smaller bases like that anyway, chances are they're going to have to have already blown up all of your turrets by the time they get to the system anyway. So, the dude. I will check my Discord right now. Let's see here, notifications. Accepted. Yeah, so any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to help you out. We can always chat in the Discord chat, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, this is pretty much it for me. This has been like a 3-hour endeavor here, getting this all set up. And I've got to get this video filmed before anything happens, because even on the test server here, some of my solar panels and stuff will start to decay over time. So I want to make sure that this video gets filmed before any of that decay starts happening. So I'm going to film the last 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so of this video. And then Mr. Swift, if you'd like to hop into a chat, absolutely we can do that. We can talk for a bit. And Mr. Steven, yeah, if you ever need help at any time with anything, just let me know. We'll hop into a Discord chat, and we'll get that going for you, buddy. No, not really. You do just have to make sure that you go and check them every once in a while, just to make sure somebody's not griefing you and shooting them with bullets and stuff like that. At most, it'll take like one high qual to repair a broken panel. So just make sure you go up a little bit of high qual. And sometimes you'll hit it to repair it, and it won't even take one high qual. You just have to make sure that you have high qual in your inventory. So some of the times it doesn't even take it. So, but anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and it's also really good to know that my videos have been helping you guys out. Makes me feel good knowing that I'm doing some service to help my fellow man in Rust, because there's enough toxicity in this game, and there's enough to learn in this game that you know, it's just nice to have somebody help. If you're in a 3-4 man team, then yeah, you can start throwing up a couple of wind turbines and stuff like that. But if you're just a solo duo, honestly, all you're going to need is one large battery. Um, all you need is one large battery, and you'll be more than enough. And that'll be more than enough. You'll be fine. Because small little solo duo base, you're never really going to need more than 6 turrets anyway. If you can even get 6 turrets as a solo duo. No, I don't have a Discord group for everyone yet. I'm kind of waiting until custom servers come out before I spend the time on that. Because I actually will have to go through and make a proper Discord and everything else like that. But I do chat with a lot of people on Facebook and stuff like that. So, yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for your time as well. I do appreciate it. You know, every minute that you guys, you know, hang out with me here in the chat and stuff like that, and watch my videos and stuff, it does nothing but help me and help promote my videos and get it out to more people to help them, and you know, the cycle continues. So, yeah, I'll definitely talk to you later on Discord, Steven. Again, thank you, buddy, for stopping by, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Ciao, gentlemen.